the moment, everybody's waiting for those pictures because it's been reported on social media that the hostages, which now includes, of course, as you know, the Thais as well, the 12 Thais and the 13 Israelis, have been met by the Red Cross or the Red Crescent in Khan Yunis, making their way to Rafah. And the pictures behind me are the Israeli ambulances waiting at Rafah. So that's what we're all waiting to see. You in Paris, and of course all the journalists here in Tel Aviv.
And Irris, talk us through what happens once they reach the Rafah border crossing. I guess it's going to be the same protocols for the Thais who have been held hostage as well as for the Israelis.
Presume that, because they weren't part of this deal, but it might just be easier to get them out. At one stage, there was a whole discussion that they would go straight to Cairo or perhaps to Tehran. Do you remember there was an Iranian initiative to release them? But I imagine it will just be easier to get them out via Kerem Shalom, the border crossing, the Israel-Egypt border crossing area, back up to hospitals in Tel Aviv. They have to be seen for the health reasons. All the same treatment that the Israeli hostages are getting would be very helpful, of course, for the Thais who've been in the same situation under the ground for 49 days.
Irris, earlier we had our colleague Claire Pacalin, who was at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, and she was talking to someone's who has their brother held hostage in Gaza, and who's obviously not part of this deal, who won't be released over the next 4 days. And something he said that struck me. He said the government needs to do whatever it takes to just release these hostages, give them whatever they want. It should be about that. Not about fighting Hamas, but getting the hostages back. Will that kind of pressure weigh in on and affect things in the days to come, do you think?
I think it's only the pressure of these families that even has brought about the release that we're seeing today and the deal that we're seeing today, because I know there were some in the military who were opposed to it. And even within the security cabinet, there were some who thought it was better to wait. But the pressure from the families, the fear after finding two female hostages dead near Al-Shifa hospital, a third one reported by Islamic Jihad, the other Palestinian militant group who are holding her, reporting that she was dead. There's a very real fear that the longer you hold them, the real fear is that they simply won't survive. So you can understand the pressure from the people whose families are not, whose relatives are not being released.
Yeah.
There's one 3-year-old child, in fact, today is her 4th birthday. She has no parents to return to and no one with her. There's another boy who's there with his father. Shouldn't his father come with him? His mother isn't alive either. So there's all these questions that the relatives are asking, and of course you can understand that.
It seems that things are in motion, Irris, because while you were speaking, we do have confirmation from the Thai Prime Minister that those 12 hostages have in fact been released by Hamas. So clearly we're all waiting for that Red Crescent convoy to make its way to the Rafah border crossing, where we will see those. I imagine, Irris, we're going to see those images of people getting out of whatever trucks and being loaded into helicopters. Is that it? Irris, will people be taken to hospitals in Tel Aviv by helicopter?
That's right. I was just turning around to see the images behind me, which are of still of the same image. So that is.
Okay, it seems like we have a technical problem with Irris.
Helicopter. I've heard two versions. Originally, I heard helicopter, and recently I've heard planes. So I don't know which of those two it is, but it will be by air. Having said that, I just heard a third version that said vehicles, but I do believe it'll be a plane.